Have you ever reached the end of a long day only to wonder where all the time went and what you actually accomplished? It's a frustrating feeling, one that so many of us silently carry. We stay busy, we check things off endless lists, we bounce from task to task, yet somehow deep down, we know we're not moving closer to the life we really want. The truth is, most people waste incredible amounts of time every day without even realizing it. It's not because we're lazy or careless. It's because we live in a world full of distractions and hidden traps that pull our attention away from what truly matters. But here's the empowering part. Awareness changes everything. Once you see where your time is leaking, you can take it back and redirect it toward your dreams. In this video, we're going to break down the most common ways people waste time, often without noticing, and more importantly, we'll talk about how you can stop. If you're ready to reclaim control over your days, sharpen your focus, and start making real progress toward the life you deserve, you're in the right place. Let's dive in and begin the transformation, one powerful choice at a time. Number 1. Mindless digital consumption. In today's world, one of the biggest thieves of our time, energy, and potential is mindless digital consumption. It's almost frightening how easy it is to lose hours without even realizing it. Hours spent scrolling through social media feeds, binge-watching TV shows on autopilot, or hopping aimlessly from one random website to another. What starts as just 5 minutes of checking Instagram or YouTube often turns into a black hole that swallows entire evenings. It's not just about the time lost. It's about the focus, mental clarity, and creativity that quietly bleed away each time we engage with digital distractions without purpose. Let's talk numbers for a moment. Studies show that the average person spends over 7 hours a day in front of a screen, with over 2.5 hours dedicated just to social media alone. That's nearly 17 years of our lives if we continue at that rate. The psychological effects are equally alarming. Constant digital stimulation leads to attention fragmentation, reduced deep thinking capacity, higher levels of anxiety, and even sleep disruption. The dopamine-driven design of these platforms trains our brains to crave instant gratification rather than invest in meaningful long-term rewards. Essentially, our precious cognitive resources are being hijacked, one notification at a time. But the worst part is that mindless digital consumption feels deceptively harmless in the moment. It disguises itself as relaxation or winding down, when in reality it often leaves us more drained, less fulfilled, and frustrated at the time we've lost. Every hour spent consuming someone else's life, ideas, or opinions is an hour not invested in our own goals, creativity, and personal growth. Winners know this, and they guard their digital attention fiercely. So how do you reclaim control? First, set clear screen time limits on your devices. Use apps like Freedom Moment or the built-in tools on your phone to monitor and restrict usage. Next, practice intentional tech use before you open any app or website. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? What's my purpose? If you don't have a good reason, close it. Schedule tech-free blocks during your day. Periods where you intentionally step away from screens to focus on deep work, hobbies, exercise, or real human connection. One of the most powerful methods is the digital detox. Set aside a day, a weekend, or even a few hours where you completely disconnect from the internet and devices. Go analog, read physical books, journal, cook, take long walks. Notice how much clearer, calmer, and more present you feel when you're not bombarded by digital noise. The first detox might feel uncomfortable, even anxiety-inducing. But that discomfort reveals just how tightly these habits have gripped us, and how much freedom lies on the other side. Consider the story of Cal Newport, author of Digital Minimalism and Deep Work. Newport doesn't even have a social media account. Despite this, or rather because of it, he's built a highly productive career as a professor, researcher, and best-selling author. His work emphasizes that by eliminating low-value digital noise, we can unlock unprecedented levels of focus, creativity, and satisfaction. He's not an isolated case either. Many highly successful people limit or curate their digital intake carefully to protect their mental energy for what truly matters. The truth is, technology itself isn't evil. It's how we use it, or how it uses us, that makes the difference. When you shift from mindless consumption to mindful usage, you don't have to give up your favorite platforms or shows entirely. Instead, you gain the power to choose when, how, and why you engage with them. Your time is too precious, your dreams too important to surrender to endless passive scrolling. So ask yourself right now, how many hours could you reclaim each week just by being a little more intentional online? What passion project, new skill, or meaningful relationship could you nurture with that freed up time? Your future self, the one who's living your biggest dreams, is begging you to find out. Let's move forward and look at the next trap that silently robs people of their time and potential. Number 2, overcommitting and people-pleasing. Another silent and often invisible way people waste vast amounts of time and emotional energy is by overcommitting and falling into the trap of people-pleasing. It's easy to say yes when someone asks for help, invites you to an event, or pitches a new opportunity. On the surface, these yeses feel generous, cooperative, even noble. But stacked together, they quickly turn into a life overflowing with obligations that drain your time, scatter your focus, and leave you feeling resentful and exhausted. What most people don't realize is that every yes you give away without discernment is a silent no to your own priorities, dreams, and peace of mind. At the root of overcommitting lies the fear of disappointing others. Many of us grew up equating saying no with being rude, selfish, or unkind. We learned to seek approval, to fear rejection, to believe our value is tied to how useful or agreeable we are to others. But here's the hard truth. You cannot build a meaningful, purpose-driven life if you are constantly living at the mercy of everyone else's expectations. Winners understand that their time and energy are their most valuable assets, and they guard them fiercely. Losers, on the other hand, give away their schedule to anyone who asks because they're afraid to stand firm in their own lives. Setting healthy boundaries isn't selfish, it's essential. Every time you decline something that doesn't align with your goals or values, you're saying yes to what truly matters. Boundaries act as a filter, allowing you to engage deeply with the commitments you genuinely care about, while freeing you from the endless noise of external demands. Strong boundaries create the space for excellence, creativity, health, and happiness to grow. Learning to say no gracefully is a skill, and like any skill, it gets easier with practice. You don't have to be harsh, defensive, or apologetic. You can be firm, respectful, and kind. Here are some practical scripts you can use. Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm unable to commit right now. I really appreciate the offer, but my plate is full at the moment. That sounds like a wonderful project, but it doesn't align with my current priorities. Notice how these responses honor both the other person and your own time. You are allowed to protect your energy without guilt. Another way to make saying no easier is to buy yourself time. Instead of saying yes on the spot, respond with, "Let me think about it and get back to you." This gives you the breathing space to evaluate the request properly instead of being pressured into a reflexive yes. Remember, urgency is often a manipulation tool. If someone can't respect your need for space before committing, that's a clear sign the opportunity might not be in your best interest. Here's a powerful self-reflection exercise you can do. Take a moment to list every current commitment on your plate, from work projects and volunteer roles to social events and side hustles. Now, one by one, ask yourself, does this truly align with my highest goals and values? Does this energize me or drain me? If I could walk away from this without guilt, would I? Be brutally honest. Chances are there are at least a few commitments you're holding on to out of fear, habit, or guilt, rather than true alignment. The goal isn't to withdraw from life or stop helping others. It's to be intentional about where and how you invest your finite energy. Imagine what your life could look like if you filled your calendar only with commitments that set your soul on fire, that moved you closer to your dreams, that honored your well-being and joy. That life is possible, but it requires the courage to say no. Ultimately, the time you waste saying yes to the wrong things is time stolen from the right things. Your passions, your loved ones, your health, your dreams. Winners say yes slowly and no quickly. They understand that protecting their time isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. You cannot do meaningful work, build deep relationships, or live a purposeful life if you are constantly overextended and overwhelmed. So as we move into the next section, remember this: every yes is a trade. Make sure you're trading your precious time for something truly worth it. Now let's look at another invisible trap that drains our days and weakens our progress. Number 3, Perfectionism and overthinking. One of the most deceptive ways people waste their time isn't through obvious distractions, it's through perfectionism and overthinking. On the surface, striving for perfection might sound admirable, even noble. But in reality, perfectionism is often just procrastination in disguise. It's a trap that keeps people stuck in endless planning, tweaking, doubting, and second-guessing, instead of taking bold, imperfect action that moves them forward. The pursuit of a perfect result often delays the very progress that would create real growth and success. It burns immense amounts of mental energy, breeds fear of failure, and slowly erodes confidence, all while giving the illusion of productivity. The myth of perfect timing and perfect execution has derailed more dreams than outright laziness ever has. We tell ourselves that we'll start the business when everything is in place, launch the project when it's flawless, or take the leap when the stars align just right. But the truth is, perfect timing is a fantasy. Life is messy, unpredictable, and full of variables outside your control. Waiting for everything to be ideal is simply another way to avoid the discomfort and risk that come with real action. Winners understand this. They know that imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. There are countless real-world examples where progress and success came from moving fast and embracing imperfection. Think about startups like Facebook or Airbnb. Their early versions were rough, clunky, full of flaws, but they launched anyway. They didn't wait until their products were perfect. They improved along the way, learning through real-world feedback, not endless theory. Athletes, too, know that you don't perfect your form or strategy by sitting on the sidelines. You get better by stepping onto the field, making mistakes, adjusting, and pushing forward. Creators like writers, filmmakers, and artists often talk about how their breakthroughs didn't come when they finally created a masterpiece. They came when they stopped judging their early work too harshly and simply kept creating. The harsh truth is that no amount of planning or overthinking can prepare you perfectly for real-world challenges. The battlefield of life is dynamic. What matters is not how perfect your plan is, but how willing you are to adapt, to act, and to learn on the fly. Clarity, confidence, and competence are built through motion, not through endless mental rehearsal. To combat perfectionism and overthinking, you need strategies that force action and embrace imperfection as part of the process. First, set deadlines for yourself, real, non-negotiable deadlines. When you commit to finishing something by a specific time, you focus less on getting it perfect and more on getting it done. Constraints like time limits actually enhance creativity and efficiency because they force you to prioritize what matters most. Second, practice embracing the good enough mentality. This doesn't mean lowering your standards or settling for mediocrity. It means recognizing that 80% finished and shipped is infinitely more valuable than 100% perfect, but still stuck in your drafts. Progress fuels momentum. Every time you complete something, even if it's imperfect, you gain experience, feedback, and confidence. Done is better than perfect, because done creates real-world results. Another powerful mindset shift is to view imperfection as a sign of authenticity and courage. When you release something that isn't polished to death, you're telling the world, I'm willing to be seen growing. I'm willing to risk mistakes to pursue greatness. That kind of vulnerability and boldness is far more inspiring than sterile perfectionism. Finally, if you find yourself spiraling into overthinking, use this simple rule. Act within 5 seconds. When you have an instinct to do something aligned with your goals, send the email, make the call, publish the post. Count backward from 5 and then move. Don't give your brain time to flood you with doubts. Action interrupts fear. Motion defeats stagnation. Understand this: perfectionism isn't a badge of honor. It's a silent killer of dreams. Winners are not the ones who wait until they feel ready or until conditions are flawless. Winners are the ones who start, stumble, learn, adapt, and grow faster than everyone else hiding behind endless preparation. As we move into the next section, remember this mantra: action over perfection, progress over paralysis. Every moment spent obsessing over getting it just right is a moment stolen from making real impact in your life. It's not about being flawless, it's about being relentless. Now let's look at another hidden time waster that can quietly sabotage your biggest goals without you even noticing. Number 4, living in the past or future. Another powerful yet often overlooked way we waste time is by living everywhere but the present moment. So many people are trapped by the heavy chains of past regrets or anxieties about an uncertain future. They replay mistakes they made years ago, holding on to resentments, wishing they could rewrite history, or they spiral into endless what-if scenarios, worrying about problems that haven't even happened yet and may never happen at all. While the mind races backward or forward, life quietly slips by. Energy is drained, opportunities are missed, and real happiness remains just out of reach. Yet the truth is simple and profound. Time only exists now in this very moment. The past is unchangeable, the future is unknowable, and the only place we can truly act, live, and influence anything is right here, right now. Dwelling on the past often comes from a deep desire to make sense of pain or reclaim control. But reliving past wounds doesn't heal them, it keeps them alive. Winners understand this. They mine the past only for lessons, not for lifelong punishments. They take responsibility for what they can, forgive what they must, and then let go. They know that no amount of regret will change a single outcome. What defines them is how they choose to move forward with the wisdom they've earned. Similarly, constant worrying about the future masquerades as preparation, but it often becomes a cycle of anxiety and powerlessness. Planning wisely for the future is responsible. Obsessing over every possible disaster is destructive. Winners prepare where they can, but accept that uncertainty is part of life. They trust themselves to handle challenges when they come. Instead of burning precious energy, fearing things that may never materialize, they focus on building skills, habits, and resilience in the present moment, because they know that's the only true preparation for whatever the future brings. The key to breaking free from the trap of past and future is cultivating mindfulness and presence. Mindfulness isn't some mystical or complicated practice reserved for monks or gurus. It's simply the act of being fully engaged with whatever you are doing, thinking, and feeling right now. It's noticing the world around you without judgment. It's breathing deeply into this moment instead of drifting away into stories of what was or fears of what might be. A simple mindfulness practice you can start today is what I call 5 senses check-in. At any point when you feel yourself spinning in regret or worry, pause and notice. What are 5 things you can see? 4 things you can touch? 3 things you can hear? 2 things you can smell? 1 thing you can taste? This quick exercise anchors you in your body and in the present. It interrupts the thought loops and reconnects you with the here and now, where your real power lives. Another powerful practice is setting a presence alarm. Set a reminder on your phone to buzz every few hours. When it goes off, take 1 minute to stop. Breathe deeply and ask yourself, am I here or am I lost in my mind? That small act of awareness resets your attention and slowly builds the muscle of living intentionally, moment to moment. Mindfulness isn't about achieving some perfect state of Zen. It's about noticing when you drift and gently returning. Over time, you'll find that you spend less energy dwelling on the unchangeable past or the uncontrollable future, and more energy creating, doing, loving, and living today. And that is where life actually happens. Every major change, every big win, every meaningful experience is born out of being fully alive to the opportunity right in front of you. Living in the past or the future is one of the most invisible time drains because it feels like thinking, but it's actually avoidance. Winners refuse to lose themselves in could-have-beens or what-ifs. They claim their moments, one breath, one decision, one action at a time. And when you choose to be present, truly present, you are no longer wasting time. You are investing it in the only place that matters now. As we continue, let's look at another silent thief of time that can derail even the best intentions, the trap of multitasking and scattered focus. Number 5, chasing distractions disguised as opportunities. One of the most deceptive ways we waste time is by chasing distractions that cleverly disguise themselves as opportunities. It's called shiny object syndrome, the irresistible urge to pursue every new project, idea, or venture that promises excitement, success, or quick results. You start one business, then jump to another, because it seems more promising. You enroll in one course, then another, but never truly master anything. You commit to writing a book, launching a podcast, building an app, but none of them see the finish line because something better always pops up. On the surface, this looks like ambition, like hunger for growth. But underneath, it's often just a sophisticated form of avoidance, a fear of sticking with the hard, boring parts of meaningful work. Winners understand something crucial. Starting is exciting, but finishing is what changes your life. Losers stay stuck in a perpetual cycle of beginnings without ever harvesting the rewards of perseverance. Distraction masquerades as productive busyness. You feel like you're doing so much, brainstorming, networking, learning new tools. But if you step back and audit your results, you realize you're spinning your wheels, going nowhere fast. True productivity isn't about how many projects you touch. It's about how many you finish, how deeply you commit, how much excellence you pour into a focused mission. The solution is radical clarity. You must know what truly matters to you, not what's flashy, trending, or praised by others. Take time to define your core goals with brutal honesty. What are the one or two things that, if accomplished, would truly move your life forward? If you don't know your North Star, you'll chase every shiny distraction in the sky. Winners set fewer goals, but they chase them with relentless focus. They don't get seduced by every opportunity that passes by, because they know that every yes is a no to something else that might be more important. A powerful technique to fight shiny object syndrome is conducting regular project audits. Every month or quarter, sit down and ask, what am I working on? Which of these projects are aligned with my ultimate goals? Which ones are just distractions dressed up as opportunities? Be ruthless. If something doesn't clearly serve your bigger vision, either kill it or consciously put it on hold. Commit to completing what you start before allowing yourself to entertain something new. Make finishing a sacred habit. Another critical technique is committing to fewer better things. Instead of having 10 half-hearted goals, have 3 deeply committed ones. Instead of dipping your toe into 5 hobbies, dive deeply into mastering one. Every success story you admire is built on depth, not breadth. Olympic athletes don't dabble in every sport. Entrepreneurs who change industries don't launch 50 companies at once. Writers who create timeless work don't juggle a dozen half-written books. They pick their battle, and they fight it with their whole heart. Think of your effort like digging wells. If you dig 100 shallow wells, you'll never reach water. But if you dig one deep well with focus and persistence, you'll strike a spring that nourishes your dreams. Your energy, time, and focus are precious resources. Don't scatter them across a dozen mediocre pursuits. Channel them into something meaningful enough to deserve your best. The world will constantly wave new distractions in front of you. New business models, new platforms, new partnerships, new trends. Every day will bring a fresh temptation to pivot. Winners aren't immune to this noise. They just refuse to let it dictate their path. They trust the plan they've built. They adjust only when necessary, not on a whim. They stay married to their mission while dating their tactics. Chasing distractions disguised as opportunities is one of the fastest ways to lose months, years, or even decades. Focus isn't sexy, and it's often lonely because while others are darting from one thing to the next, you're quietly building depth, mastery, and momentum. But focus wins. Always. Choose depth over novelty. Choose completion over excitement. Choose excellence over distraction. And watch how much faster your life begins to move toward everything you truly want. As we move forward, let's examine one final sneaky habit that silently steals time and energy from even the most well-intentioned people. The hidden trap of waiting for the perfect moment to begin. We've covered some of the biggest silent thieves of our time. Mindless digital consumption. Saying yes to too many things out of guilt or fear. Being trapped in perfectionism and endless overthinking. Living stuck in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. And chasing distractions disguised as exciting opportunities. Each one of these habits chips away at your days, your dreams, and ultimately your life. And the harsh truth is, no one is going to give you more time. It's your most precious, non-renewable resource, And every second you spend on things that don't serve your goals or growth is time you'll never get back. But there's good news. You have the power to reclaim it. Starting right now. Awareness is your first weapon. Action is your second. The challenge I'm putting in front of you today is simple but powerful. Choose just one time-wasting habit you recognize in yourself and commit to eliminating it, starting today. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Small changes compounded over time lead to massive transformations. You don't need more hours in a day. You need fewer distractions. Take back your time and take back your life. If you're ready to draw a line in the sand, I want you to drop a comment below and share. Which time-wasting habit are you committed to changing first? Let's hold ourselves accountable and build a community of people who refuse to let their dreams die at the hands of distractions. Your future self is counting on you.